Now, we cry about corruption, the origin of non-accountability. The intention of the British in coming to set up this was a commercial venture. It was like a criminal foreign enterprise, somewhere they could go get everything they can and bring home. That's the whole purpose of their coming. And the joint venture they formed with the other, marauders from Futajalon is also one in which the junior partner, the Fulani will be the junior partner, that will make sure that the British takes what they can take. They themselves will keep what they can keep. The rest of us can then be given the crumbs as they deem fit. Now, that joint venture is one in which the rules are set to be able to steal everything that has value, to kill whoever tries to stand in the way of that robbery gang, and to destroy whatever they cannot take away. To steal, to kill, and to destroy. By the time we go further, you will see where those things began to feature in our constitutional arrangements. What is it that is our arrangement for which the contents of the Treasury is always available in an unlimited manner to those, the heads of the executive branch? These principles, I'm reading from now, are the reasons we have the kind of appropriation provisions we have in sections 81, 82 for the president, and in sections 121 and 122 for the governors. All the contents of the Treasury, what you realize from selling 3 million barrels of crude oil every day, what you realize from the ports operations of Lagos, from the VATs collected everywhere in the south, the principles for managing the resources in a manner that makes it unaccountable. That's the custodians of the Treasury, the custodians of power in Nigeria are not to be accountable to the populace for the contents of the Treasury. Now listen to this. This is before 1914. Sir Frederick, in order to restrain the cupidity of the Emirs and to curb their restless spirit or love of adventure from breaking forth into rapine and plunder, practically charmed them into submission with the sop of princely salaries and with the allocation of 50% of the native treasury funds derived chiefly from direct taxation in such a manner as to create a distinction without a difference between the private and public funds. Here's the meaning of this. When you get to power, as we install you, whatever you find in the Treasury, keep 50% on the left pocket. That's entirely for you. That is what has become security vote today at the center and at the states. Almost half of all the money that comes is put as a security vote, for which the president, for which the governor is not accountable to you. I'm now telling you what has become constitutional provisions arising from this principle of rendering the entire governance unaccountable for the finances that come to Treasury. Now, in the second part that says to create the impression of a difference between, without distinction, a difference, without distinction, the balance of what is left, you've taken 50% as your security vote. The balance of what is left is what is now put in appropriation as budget. How does it get out? How does money come out of the budget, out of the Treasury? You go to section 81, the president is required to go to the National Assembly to obtain permission to spend money. In section 82, the same president is licensed to go to take money from the Treasury to run government, subject to 50% of what was approved the year before, not what was spent. And you hear about jumbo budgets that they use Ghana must go to facilitate. It is because the presidents, it is because the governors know about that provision in your constitution, that they do all sorts things to put the figures that will justify taking all the monies in the treasury, in the pretense that they're operating under 50% of, because that immediately waives the need to go to wait for appropriation before you spend. So they put jumbo figures that give them the spare key to take everything you find in the treasury. It didn't fall from the sky. I'm showing you what predated 1914. That is the principle for which we have those provisions today. Nobody talking about corruption in Nigeria is going to get anywhere if these pillars of that provision are not addressed in terms of uprooting that constitution and all of what is below it, so that people can write down the principles of what will become constitutional provisions for them. That is what we insist must happen now, so that we don't have a society that is running upside down. I go to the next item of the root of impunity. The impunity we have going on now is one in which the principle of the crown does not err. That is, you cannot bring, as at the time this colonial venture was happening, you couldn't sue the king of England or queen of England, who was head of everything. They are monarchs. And so they transformed it and transposed it into the governance they were going to plant here. Back in England, it was no longer so. They've been overthrown by parliament that had to, have the final say on what becomes law. But in the colony, it became a matter of I am the law. The government is the law. My will is my law. I'm reading from here. The language of it is a cake, but I can just summarize it to mean that the will of those in government are to be law. It is under these principles here that they subjugated the police system directly to the executive branch. That is, it is the executive branch that controls the police here. Elsewhere, the police is always under the watch of the judicial branch, so that no matter what happens, if issues of law and order arise for which any citizen may have to lose his liberty in terms of being detained, there must be a judge that will say, go detain him. That warrant is always required. And the moment the judge makes a court makes a pronouncement, the police, the law enforcement people take it from there. They are not to wait for the executive to come to approve of which one to go to to enforce and which one to keep from enforcing. It is because this Nigerian system that turns everything upside down wanted this outcome we are suffering from, that they put those provisions that make it impossible for court orders to be enforced. Anybody talking about the rule of law in Nigeria under this constitution that have its roots in this kind of pillars of motives is just wasting his time, unless the pronouncement of court will have life of its own for enforcement without waiting for the executive that may have other intentions. It is on account of this principle here that they made the appointment of judges in Nigeria the business of the executive branch. So whatever you do, it is those same people that have been given the keys, the spare keys to the Treasury, that will also decide what the law enforcement people do. Put the two together. You come to the question of the matter of immunity provision. There's section 6, subsection 6D, that puts a period of 33 years that goes from 15th of January 1966 to the 29th of May 1999, 33-year period. All atrocities committed in the name of government were put beyond the reach of the court to probe into. That means, immunity, blanket immunity for that period. 3/4 of what has held Nigeria down today in terms of the corruption we see, in terms of the impunity we see, have their roots in that provision. And that provision has its roots in this motive that is stated here, before 1914.